Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Temple of Light Center for Spiritual Living. This is our Tuesday evening spiritual mind healing service. I'm practitioner Sandra Cooper, and for the next, 50 or 60 minutes, we're just going to have a good time together. And we're going to start off just by becoming still. And I will do a very brief meditation and then afterwards share with you a quick little reasoning that I have kind of come to and I want to share with you. Okay, so just take a deep breath in. I'm going to just share my screen quickly. Okay. So just take a moment for us to turn inward. Begin by placing both feet flat on the ground. If you can take your shoes off, that's even better. And gently close your eyes. Now take a deep breath in and let it go. Breathe in again and release. And with each breath, just feel yourself becoming more and more present here, right now. Fully present, fully open. This is your sacred pause that refreshes. Now gently bring your awareness to your heart space. Imagine that it is glowing with a soft golden light. This light represents the truth of who you are, whole, powerful, and connected to divine intelligence. Now breathe into that space. And as you breathe into that space, just affirm within your heart, I go deeper and I fly higher. I go deeper and I fly higher. Feel those words just rippling through your being. Let them settle into your body. Let them stir your soul. And as you go deeper into stillness, into surrender, into spiritual truth, you will unlock the wings that allow you to soar above fear, above fatigue, above frustration, above anything that has weighed you down. Right here, right now, is a sacred opening. Just step into it and just be still and breathe. gently bring your awareness back into this room. Take a deep breath in. Wiggle your fingers and toes. Take another deep breath in. When you're ready, gently open your eyes. You are centered, you are ready, and you are rising. And so it is. And so we rise into a new awareness of who and whose we are. As we gather for this Tuesday evening spiritual mind healing service, I know that wherever you are, God is, and all is well. For each and every one of us here who chose to be here, I know that the divine presence rests with us. It uplifts and it inspires us, and it opens our hearts to hear the words that are spoken, to appreciate the sharing, and to understand that each of us is walking our own path, going in our own direction, at our own pace. And that one thing we have in common is that we all go with God. And so I give thanks for this evening and know that each one of us lifts the other as we venture on this journey of life together. And knowing this, I release these words now with the blessed assurance that it is, each word is accomplished whereunto it is spoken. I give thanks that this is so now, and so it is. Welcome again, everyone. I see Carol and Dawn, Leighton, Jennifer. And I welcome to all of you who are joining us on YouTube. It's good to have you. Okay. So, this evening we're going to have a conversation about going deeper so that we can fly higher. You know, there's an old legend that tells us that when the gods made man, I think I heard this years ago from Reverend Elmer, they argued among themselves about whether to immediately bestow upon him the secret to his success or to have him search to find it. Well, after much deliberation, they finally agreed that man needed to earn his right to success. So he had to search to find it. Well, the next challenge was where to hide it. One said, well, let's hide it at the top of the highest mountain. He will never find it there. No, said another. Man is a great explorer. He would climb that mountain and he would find it. Then let's bury it deep beneath the earth. Surely he'll never find it there. I'm afraid man would dig and dig until he found it there too, says another. Finally, the wisest of them all shouted, ah, I have it. Let us bury it deep inside his own being. Surely he will never think of looking for it there. True to their prediction, man has spent millennia searching to find a secret to success, not realizing that all along it has existed at the very core of his very being. Now, our master teacher, Jesus, told us in John 10:10, I am come that they might have life, and they might have it more abundantly. Now, we all want to experience the abundant life that Jesus talked about. But Jesus wasn't talking about material possessions. He was talking about a more intrinsic wealth, wisdom, beauty, love, joy, peace, truth, and harmony, those intrinsic qualities that we all want to experience in our life. How we are able to unearth this wealth is by delving deeply into the soil of our consciousness. It is there that we establish our connection with spirit. And it is in this communion that we are able to express and experience greater fulfillment, greater happiness, and greater peace of mind. But the challenge that many of us have is that we are constantly faced with the demands of life, which butter us about and distract us from what is really important. And that is having deep and meaningful relationship with spirit. So how can one even think about being able to fly when one can barely exist above ground? This is why we do the work that we do here at the Temple of Light. And the work begins in mind. Romans 12 verse 2 says, and be not conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Everything happens in mind. End of that quote. All human accomplishments originate in thought. So I have some questions for you. How high do you think you are flying in your life? I want you to close your eyes for a minute, and I'm going to ask you a few questions. First question, and I'm going to ask it in the first person, so you want to ask it of yourself. Do I communicate fully with openness and authenticity? In other words, do I speak truthfully of what's on my mind and in my heart? Think about that. The second question is, am I freely sharing my gifts and talents with the world? You just need to think about yes or no. Third question, am I freely and easily and generously serving my spiritual community with my time, my talent, and treasure? That's question 3. Am I serving my spiritual community with my time, my talent, and treasure? The fourth question, can I stand naked in front of a mirror and feel pure love and acceptance for the image looking back at me? Yes, that's a biggie. Especially for some of us as we get older, when a lot of things are going so. And for some of us, they're not. Some of the things that are supposed to go north are not moving anymore. Question 5. Am I free of resentment, anger, or similar feeling towards people and events from the past? Am I free of resentment, anger, and similar feeling towards people and events from the past? And the last question, am I free of the tendency to blame myself for and or feel guilty about choices I might have made in the past? Lord, if I didn't know, I would have done this, or I wouldn't do that, etc., etc. Oh, that's so familiar to me. So if you answered no to any of them, then like me, you have work to do. We all have work to do. And the work we have in consciousness on ourselves as we grow as spiritual students of truth, that work never stops. You know, friends, for some of us, what we learn at the Temple of Light, you know, the principles of truth might make good sense. But the proof of the spiritual pudding is in how we are able to apply those principles when life happens, not to be able to understand them and get them right in a test. When we have a crisis in health, finances, relationships, and the like, we cannot take this thing lightly. We must go deeper to fly higher. We have the tools. We have the spiritual tools to apply when we have those challenges. The change that is required for personal transformation is a choice. We get to choose what to wear. We get to choose where to go and what to eat. But most importantly, we get to choose what to think. We are intelligent beings living in an intelligent universe, and it responds to our mental states. And insofar as we learn to control those mental states, we shall automatically control our environment. So if we want a new experience We have to raise our consciousness, and that paves the way for more harmonious conditions to evolve. Higher consciousness requires a spiritual practice that is disciplined and consistent. It requires a commitment and a willingness to do things differently. So I'm going to share a list of spiritual practices. I want you to look at each one. I'm going to share them visually. And I want you to do two things for me. I want you might have a pen and paper. I want you to choose one that you do consistently without fail. And then I want you to choose two more that you're willing to commit to doing. All right, let me just share my screen again. All right, so you have a lot of pictures here. The first one is morning meditation. As you open your eyes, you might want to get up and go to the bathroom. That might be important, yes. But as soon as you finish and come right back to your bed, or you might want to go and sit in a chair and get going with your morning meditation. Don't leave home without it. Don't go for breakfast without it. Don't go get your coffee. Just become still. Just celebrate that early morning experience. Read something that inspires you. Do a little bit of journaling and do your affirmative prayer. Okay? The second one is visioning and imagination. Now, visioning is about just asking the divine presence, what will you have of me today? What will you have me do? What should I accomplish? What is the highest and best for me in this situation? And then just be still and await the response. Imagination is where you can put taste, smell, touch. You can put texture. You can put color on your dreams and desires, and just have that strong feeling about what those things, about what that looks like. So another powerful ways to go deeper. The third one is to listen. Oops, I've lost my yeah. To listen with your heart. You know, sometimes we listen from a very analytical and logical way. You know, we listen from what is obvious, what our five senses tell us. But there's a deeper discernment, and sometimes we need to go into that deeper place to be able to understand and appreciate that sometimes what is obvious in front of us, what our five senses tell us, is not what is really occurring for us. And if we listen with our heart, we're able to get deeper, to see more. All right, the next one I want to share with you is the importance of surrender and trust. Surrender is sometimes hard when some of us, myself included, is such a strong, control is so important to us. We must know what's going to happen, when it's going to happen, why it's happening, etc. So, you know, and there's a matter that I am dealing with right now, and I'm really wondering about the who and the what and the why. And a friend just had to say to me, Sandy, just chill now, man. And just know that if not this, then something better. And so that opens, once they're surrendered, then, you know, yeah, the next thing is to trust. Trust that spirit is going to guide you and put you on the path firmly in terms of what you need to do and how. Okay, so trust, you know the what. Trust spirit for the how. Okay, the next one is gratitude. Gratitude as spiritual practice. Oh Lord, you know, there's a line that says, "In all things, give thanks." So it's not for all things, but in all things, no matter how they appear at the time, you know that there is something wonderful that is occurring. And that's where the head must be at. And so we give thanks for, in spite of what appears. The next thing is right action. I'm symbolizing this by the plus sign and the X sign. So whatever we perceive it to be, that is how it's unfolding. Our ego might say, yes, this is the right thing and love that. Ego might say also, no, that can't be happening. That's wrong. Just to trust that the universe is unfolding exactly as it should. The next thing, shadow work and inner healing. I love this diagram when I saw it, because each of us has a wounded little child. There's some old memory of something that didn't work for us, or some experience that we had when we were children. And those feelings, for a lot of us, we take them onto the grave. And so shadow work is really doing the work that facilitates the healing of some of the stuff that we have taken into our adult lives. And so doing some of the deeper work, once we are able to release some of the challenges, some of that trauma, it frees us to really rise into our spiritual magnificence. The next thing is conscious community. You don't know how I thrive to have people of like mind that I can call on and say, help, something is happening or not working for me. And I can call on practitioner Carol, who is here, and say, Carol, help. And, she's so logical and rational. And she just helps me to a T. And then the next day she popped down and she'll call, Sandra, help. And this is how we support each other, as a conscious spiritual community. And the last one on this is really interesting because it's such a line. No, second to last. Service as spiritual practice. I've learned that when I give, it moves my attention away from the things that are not so hot in my own life. I took my sister to Fundy on Saturday, and my own feeling was not 100%, but it moved to 142% when I just observed my sister and the joy she felt as part of the experience, right? And so in a way, I was providing service for her. Or when I stay back after the service at church and somebody comes to talk to me and I listen. And in listening, they get the aha, they get a sense of clarity around the direction that they must take, just because I listen. That is service, and that is sacred practice. And now the last one, for sure, is what they call embodied spirituality. This body was made to move. God, and if you have feet to move and arms to move, find a way to move it. Some of us have bodies that don't work so well anymore, physically at least, right? Some persons are bedridden. But at the same time, I remember my mother when she was at an advanced stage of dementia. And I went to visit her, and she was sitting in a chair looking very, what you would call it, half dead. And while I was sitting there with her and she's not responding to me, my cell phone rang. And immediately she did a thing like this. And she became animated and she started to move her hands, and her face broke out in a smile. And I watched her and I wept, because, the music touched a part of her that had no dementia. And she just came alive. So I would deliberately go there and play music for her. But we need to move, whether it's yoga, Tai Chi, and even walk in the labyrinth. That can be a very good way to allow the spirituality to help you to move your body. Okay, so remember to take a look, write down the one that you do regularly, and 2 that you are going to commit to doing after this. I see something in the chat. No, my mistake. I'm just seeing who is here. Okay. Right, so write down the one that you do consistently and two that you're going to get going and start working with. I'm going to stop share now and I'm going to ask. You can either write in the chat or you can just share which ones of these are you going to engage in to really get to go deeper so you can fly higher with your life. All right, let me stop sharing now. All right, who'd like to share? What do you do regularly and what two are you going to take on now? Who'd like to go first? Jennifer, morning meditation at the top of your list. Yes, got you. And what two are you going to take on after that? You should just open your mic and share. Jen says visioning, okay, as one practice. Yeah, man, very, very powerful. Okay. Dawn, have you thought about this? Which ones you're going to take on? Which one you do and which ones are you going to take on? Oh, Jennifer, sorry, second Dawn. Jennifer is adding, so she said visioning and embodied spirituality. Thanks, Jen. All right, sorry, go ahead, Dawn.
For the consistently gratitude and, well, the meditation is not as consistent, but I work at it. The morning meditation, I mean.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead, I'm listening.
The first one to consider is the listening with my heart. I haven't worked out the second one.
Okay, that's fine. Karen, you asked for me to put them up again. What's come up?
Yes, Sandy. Yes, I apologize. I came in a bit late, and so I wasn't able to get them all. But may I go ahead?
Yeah, man. Strategies to help you to go deeper.
Right. Well, I would say gratitude as spiritual practice is what I practice, and I would say that conscious community also. But could you scroll down a little bit? What I would need to work on is surrender and trust, I think, and the embodied
spirituality. But you do yoga, don't you?
Yes, so maybe that's more. I do that in that heart. I like to feel. I mean, that I listen with my heart. And so maybe I need to do that more consciously. So yes, I would say those two to work on some more. Yes, thank you.
The shadow work and inner healing is appealing to me, very, very much, because every now and again a little part, a little something, sort of slip out, and I know it's coming from the wounded child. Yeah.
But how do you work on that?
Well, for me, I would touch base with somebody like Ronnie Salter.
Okay, that's interesting because I was going to a breathing session with her that was scheduled for last Saturday. That's been postponed to this Saturday.
Oh, that's good to know because I couldn't go because of the trip. So definitely I will go. So we'll talk afterwards about that.
Okay.
Thanks for that, Karen.
I've done some work, not with her, but with someone who's done similar work. Yes.
It's very powerful work.
Very much so. Very much.
All right. Carol Campbell.
Yeah, I put something in the chat, but when I look at the list, I mean, I do a bit of all of it, maybe not all the time consistently, but I do all of it some of the time. So most consistently, I am visioning and using the imagination, and I definitely will be working on, well, I did put it in the chat. What did I say? Gratitude, and listening, heartful listening. I think
Heartful
I thought.
listening and gratitude.
And gratitude, yes.
Yes. You
Yeah.
know, I'm hearing you talking, Carol, and I'm thinking it's like, you say, well, I practice going to the bathroom every now and again, or most of the time, or I practice breathing most of the time, you know. So it's like I want us to get, and I'm not ribbing you, Carol, but that spiritual practice is like going to the bathroom and breathing. It ought to be, at least. That's how I feel, you know, because I describe the world as messy and beautiful, or messy, beautiful world. But the fact is that life is lifing always.
Yeah.
And the deeper we go, the higher we will find. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when I say that I do all of them most of the time. It's not that I am not focused on doing them. It's just that
Mm-hmm.
I'm not doing all of them 100% all of the time.
Okay. And I guess maybe the important thing is that we choose one or two and just stick with them. You know?
But is that better you choose one or two, or that you are constantly in the process of embodying as many of those things as you can? Because as Karen said, there are things that you see that you do, even something like service as spiritual practice. I think a lot of us do that. Sometimes it's combined with what we actually do for work, but sometimes it's really just something, I don't want to say innate, but certainly for my part, something I learned from the cradle. My parents were very much about service. That's how we were brought up. So giving certain, service, and or at least even recognizing where service needs to be given, is something that will come, and sometimes you'll pass the moment and other times you won't. But I wouldn't give that up to perfect something else, if you know what I mean.
Understood. And for some of us, some of these will come naturally without effort. I guess what I would advocate for is, well, I will say full stop, that spiritual practice is I should be uncompromising in my spiritual practice, full stop. No, this is like a buffet, and you don't have to eat everything on the buffet. And there are some things that will work for some and some that won't work for others. So choose and just do, and just be consistent at it. And I know that it will deepen your consciousness and deepen and expand your consciousness. And when that happens, you'll see the results in your life. Okay?
Can I say something?
Sure.
I mean, they are all part of a spiritual practice. And if you have a smorgasbord, okay, it is there for you to select. You're not going to select one thing on the menu.
True.
Because all of it is available to you. That don't mean you're going to stuff yourself and pile up everything one time. But I think I guess what I'm wanting to say is that you can't separate spiritual practice into little pockets, that you only do X today, and tomorrow you do Y, and you only do X for this week, etc. I don't think you can divvy it up as such. It's one practice, just like there is one life. We express this life in various and sundry ways.
Yeah, I'm on that, Carol, for sure. And so I guess what I know with me, and I speak for myself, is that I'm always guided. And I might wake up one morning and feel, let me go into that book, let me read, or let me do a little visioning. But the bottom line is you're engaging in these practices that help you to go deeper. So at the end of the day, you fly higher.
Right.
All right. Okay, that's it for me. Now I'd like to hear from you, at least more from you. What are your prayer requests for us moving forward?
You need to check the chat, Sandy, please.
Look, there's something from Elaine Johnson. I saw that. I was just coming to that. Let me see now. Elaine says she regularly does gratitude and listens with her heart. We'll do more visioning, imagination, and surrender and trust. Yes. Thank you for that, Elaine. And again, you just go with the way Spirit moves you. Yeah. Okay. All right. So now is the time for you to write your requests in the chat or just share them, and we'll do our affirmative prayers with you in mind for those. Okay, I see. Total healthy body. Yeah, man. I could resonate with that. Peace and love throughout the world. Okay. All right, let's do the health. This is an affirmative prayer of health. And it's for Dawn, for myself, and anyone else who's open and receptive to these words. Let us know together that there's one life, one presence, one power. That life, that presence, and power we know as God. And it is a life that imbues us right now. It is a life that beats our heart, that expands our lungs as we breathe. In fact, it is the very air that we breathe. It is our aliveness, our vibrancy. It is that which allows us to express fully, perfectly, and joyfully on this plane. We truly are grateful for the life that we are. And I speak these words now for Dawn, for myself, and for anyone else who is receptive to know perfect health in every single cell and fiber of our beings. That health vibrates, healing what needs to be healed. And we know at the core, there is only God to know. And as we know God as perfect health in, through, and as us, we know that the body just does what it does in perfect harmony. Right? And so we truly are grateful for the health of mind, the health of body, the health of our affairs. And we see everything unfolding with ease, with grace, with poise, with love. All of it sweetened with love. And we are grateful. Grateful for perfect health, grateful for wholeness, and grateful for the wisdom to take care of this wonderful body temple in the way it needs to be cared. And so we give thanks for that inspiration. We give thanks for full and wonderful and vibrant health. We give thanks to know that God is at the center and God is at the circumference of our bodies, and that all is well. I release these words now with a sense of gratitude for the perfect health that we are expressing now. I rejoice that this is so, and so it is. Okay. Let's see what else we have. Okay, so Leighton, you know, I'd have included you in that healthy body. And then you ask for freedom, joy, and prosperity. Hold on. Let me see where I need to go next. What do I do? Don't treat it healthy. Okay, peace and love throughout the world. Peace. Okay, so I'm going to do peace based on the request from Dawn and from Elaine. Okay. We declare peace on earth. And we know that this peace begins with each and every one of us. I'm knowing God is love, and that love expresses as each and every one of us. And as we know that we're each made out of the fabric of love, we know that every person in our families, our communities, our country, and across the world, everyone is made of the same stuff, the same love, the same awesome stuff that is God individualized as us, as human beings. And so I declare and know that that a greater sense of oneness, a greater sense of who and whose we are is now revealed to us and through us. I know that the sense of oneness is that which allows us to appreciate and understand that differences are only on the outside, that deep within is the same flesh, the same spirit, the same expression of the one. And it is that which binds us together, that one we know as love. It binds us together, it heals, it uplifts, it inspires, and it allows for each one of us to live in harmony with the other. And I'm knowing that this sense of peace and harmony just radiates from our center to our circumference, reaching out across miles to touch each person with its warmth and its awesomeness. And so we give thanks to know that we're all blessed as one community, one love, one life, one light, God in perfect expression. So we give thanks now for the peace that heals and blesses each one of us and our country and indeed the world. And in this sense of knowing peace, perfect peace, I release these words and give thanks for their fullest expression. Thank you, God, that this is so. And so it is. I have a treatment of right action in a business transaction. Whoa. And it's for Jennifer. Okay. This is an affirmative prayer of right action for Jennifer. We know God is our source, our substance. It is that which creates all out of itself. It is that which now expresses as a business transaction that is under the pen and the decision-making of Jennifer. And it is that which now knows the direction that she needs to take that brings her the best outcome. A direction that is profitable, a direction that allows her to express her talents, a direction that allows her to touch, move, and inspire as many people as is possible, a direction with which she is extremely at peace. And so I now know that her consciousness now opens to accept the path that she needs to take. She's open to the whisperings of spirit that tells her who to call, what to do, and knowing that all the resources that are needed for the perfect execution of this business transaction, these resources are immediately supplied. And so I see it unfolding perfectly, just as it should, for all the good of all persons concerned and involved. And so I declare and know right now, perfect right action unfolding for Jennifer. I give thanks that all this is so now, and so it is. Thank you.
And so it is. Thank you, Sandy.
All right. And then I'm seeing Karen, a heart always overflowing with joy and gratitude. And I saw something up as well for Carol for an incredible, where is it now? An incredible sharing of family at a reunion last weekend. Renewed love vibrations. Wow. And all of this I'm hearing just celebration and thanksgiving. And so we know that it's always awesome to give thanks and praise. And as we acknowledge the source from which our flows, the living Spirit Almighty, we know that our source provides for us, nurtures us, and supports us in every single way. So every time we come into a space where we experience joy, where we touch and are touched by others, we know that it's God expressing. And so in this moment, we are grateful for the spirit of love and joy that brings families together, that creates wonderful friendships, friendships that nurture and support and sustain us in every wonderful and glorious way. And so as we open our hearts with gratitude for the good that flows through friendships, through family, we know that more, a 100-fold more comes back to us, and we are grateful. And so I release these words now, just full in the knowing that in gratitude we are blessed and all is well. Thank you, God, that this is so, and so it is.
So it beautifully is. Thank you,
And that's a
Sandy.
divine order for Pauline and for Leighton, freedom, joy, and prosperity in its widest meaning. Divine order for Pauline. We know one God, one presence, one power. And that presence is expressing as perfect divine order. As we know for sure the sun rises in the east and it sets in the west. And we know that rain is wet. We know that God is behind it all. We know flowers must bloom. And with the spring comes the renewed birth of new leaves and trees and all that was wonderful and good. So we know that as part of this wonderful cycle of life, every aspect of our affairs are in perfect right order, divine right order. And I speak this word for Pauline, knowing that she too is embraced and enfolded in this space of perfect right action and divine order. And so everything is in its perfect place. Everything is expressing as it should. Everything comes at the right and appointed time, and all is well. I know this as a truth about Pauline, and I give thanks with abundance. And in the space of gratitude, I release my word, knowing that Pauline is abundantly blessed as the law acts upon these words and returns them fulfilled in just the right way, in just the right time. I know that this is so now, and so it is. And now, Leighton.
So it is. Thank you.
You're welcome, Reverend Anne. For Leighton, freedom, joy, and prosperity in its widest meaning. Wow. And even when we say widest, we're still limited in our spirit knows it wider than wide. So we know that that infinite, inexhaustible presence and power we know as God is now expressing in, through, and as this wonderful soul you now know as Leighton. We know that in its just unquestionable givingness, it said, "This is my beloved Son in whom I am well pleased. And it is my good pleasure to give you the kingdom." And that kingdom includes a prosperous life, freedom and joy, just mushrooming in every aspect, your work, your family, as your health, as your finances, in every way, just see blossoming, burgeoning, just filling every single part of your life and affairs. You're bursting with happiness as a wellspring of joy overflows within you. I see your financial affairs thriving as I see wonderful opportunities to share your talent and your time and to be handsomely paid for it. And to know that the work that you do is serving others in the most wonderful and extraordinary way. And in this experience, you have the freedom to absolutely be your brightest and your best. I know that this is the truth about you, Leighton, as I know it is the truth about every one of us within the sound of my voice. And so in this consciousness, I release these words just knowing that they are fulfilled powerfully, perfectly, passionately for Leighton right now. I truly give thanks that all this is so. And
so it is. This is visioning. Thank you.
Okay, are there any on YouTube? Okay, so now we will.
Yeah, peace in our world.
Peace in the
it's
world.
In the chat.
We did,
it's in the
we
chat.
did that already at the beginning. Okay. All right, so now we have a few brief announcements.
You did one for love?
I think love was included. There wasn't a separate request for love, Dawn. It was included in what I did.
Okay, thank you.
We'll just go to the next slide. Okay, that's a few brief announcements. At the same time today, every Tuesday, if you have the need for just being in a community of persons who have had the experience of loss, and we have a grief therapist, Sir Lorraine Jones Lawrence, who is physically at the temple, doing, as she's leading a weekly support group every Tuesday from 6 to 7:30. So, feel free one Tuesday to pop in. Then there's Catherine Ponder's book that is now being explored by Reverend Sonia Davidson and practitioner Vance, and Stephen, I think Sheena is part of the Thursday evening posse. So this is from 7 to 9 via Zoom, and it will be going for 6 weeks. I think they're in the 3rd week now. And I am going to make it my point of duty to come and pass and see what's going on a Sunday. Because I hear that there are guitar and drumming classes going on at 2 o'clock on a Sunday. And if you're just curious, you wanted to play an instrument, and want to play the drums, the bass guitar, or rhythm guitar, pass by and see what I go on now, and see if that might be something that you would want to take on for yourself as you expand your plethora of gifts and talents. Okay, and so Carol, I think you're up next Tuesday, leading our spiritual mind healing service. Look out for that. We'll get a topic soon. And of course, if you feel moved to support our ministry, you can donate at donate.templeoflightcsl.org. And we are always grateful for your loving generosity and for helping us to be a beacon of light in and for the world. And as you are about to give, touch the donate button. We'll say together our blessing. Lovingly I give, joyfully I receive. Be thou fruitful, increase and multiply. Bless, prosper, and enrich everyone whom you touch, and replenish all of my financial affairs. We thank you, Father, and so it is. And we say our prayer of our center, for our center. Oh, the Temple of Light Center for Spiritual Living is a sacred field embodying our spiritual community from which the Christ, peace, love, and joy emanate to touch, to heal, to bless, to prosper, and to liberate anyone who comes into contact with it in any way. The light of the Christ illumines us, our center, and our environment. Our spiritual community. Let me see about that. Sorry,
Guiding us ceaselessly along the paths of wisdom, spiritual growth, unfoldment, and attainment.
We are blessed, and to God be the honor and glory forever. And so it is. And our prayer for Jamaica. Radiant light of God's love.
God's love is now flowing
through us
and from us.
And everyone it touches.
Everyone. The eternal
light of God's love now completely
is
and Jamaica. Our growing intensity of the light of God's love.
No,
begin to penetrate and awakens within the hearts and minds of all countrymen and women. Truths of life would set free. The light of God's love is growing and glowing in intensity in the hearts and minds of mankind everywhere. Love, health, harmony, goodwill, peace, uprightness, integrity, joy, prosperity, kindness, and our oneness under God are now established, and so it is.
Oh, wow. So it was good to gather in this space. And as we started with God, we truly are grateful for the time spent together this evening as we examined the idea of going deeper, enabling us to fly higher. And so whatever we choose to meditate, to vision, to be grateful, to share in our spiritual community, to give service, to listen with our hearts, whatever it is, it takes us into that secret place of the Most High. And in that place, there is no illness, there is no pain, there is no lack, no limitation, nothing of that nature. There's only God to know and God to experience. So we open ourselves to the wisdom that allows us to do what we need to do in the way that suits us. And so we are grateful to know that at the heart of it all is our choice. And we choose powerfully to align with our true nature in every way. And so as we go to our respective activities this evening, we go with God, we go with love, we go with joy and light and laughter, knowing that we take with us that sense of knowing that God is and I am, and all is truly, truly well. I give thanks for this truth, because it sets us all free. And I rejoice that this is truly so now. And so it is. Oh, thank you all for being here, for being part of my journey.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. That was a lovely service. I love what you did. That was a great idea.
Thank you all. Have a
Thanks,
wonderful
Sandy.
rest of your
Thanks,
evening.
Sandy.
All righty.
Namaste.
Ta-ta.
Love and blessings, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Yeah, blessings, Karen.
Bye.
Thank you all.
Bye,
Ta-ta.
Leighton.
Great light and love.
Elaine,
Light
all the
and
best.